read the chapter on different.
The author, Chris, starts out by telling a story about how he was driving in Chicago and he saw a cop on the side of the road.
And he wanted to give him a warm drink. It was on a cold Chicago day, and he felt like God was moving him to give this guy a drink, but
the way he thought it should be carried out and the way that he felt he was serving God didn't really work out.
That God is, in fact, different.
that God's ways are not our ways and his thoughts are not our thoughts.
His methods aren't our methods a lot of times.
You ever get the idea that the God of the Old Testament and the God of the New Testament are two completely different gods? I mean, don't we sometimes think that the God of the Old Testament, they started out pretty well. He created the heavens and the earth, and he planted this garden, and he walked in it with Adam and Eve. But then after they sinned, things started to change. And it started with the flood, and then Sodom and Gomorrah. And then all the Canaanites that his people killed as they took their land. And then come the fiery prophets and the exiles. And all this leaves us thinking, well, this God is angry. But then Jesus comes along and he seems gentle. He hangs out with sinners and he forgives them. He heals people and he welcomes children and he washes his disciples' feet. And we start wondering, is this the same God that we were reading about before? And it feels like God changed, like he became nicer as Jesus. Well, this is, of course, complete nonsense. God does not change. The fury and the mercy that we see in God in the Old Testament is the fury and the mercy that we see in God in the New Testament. And both attributes are beautiful. You know, understanding this, believing this, is an eye-opening experience. And we tend to gravitate towards what we consider the softer side of God, often ignoring the parts of his character that feel uncomfortable. But when we do this, we run the risk of not knowing all of him that he means for us to know. You know, when I began embracing both the hard and the easy things to believe about God, I found out something very important. God is different. He's way different. He's mind-bendingly different. You know, it's hard to embrace a God who does things that I would never do, like putting people to death for their sin. But it's also hard to embrace a God who does things that I would never do, like show mercy to people who don't deserve it. So revel in these truths as you read, and embrace all that God says about himself in his word. After all, he is different, and that's a good thing.